So the Reds take the field. Let's take a look at the Chicago Cubs starting lineup for Game 2 of this day-night doubleheader, presented by Meyer. Junior Lake in center, Justin Ruggiano in right, Anthony Rizzo at first. Starlin Castro, a National League All-Star, he's at short. Wellington Castillo behind the plate, and rookie Mike Old down at third. Chris Coghlan has had a very good couple of days here in Cincinnati. He'll be in left. Darwin Barney in right. Tsuyoshi Wada is on the mound. David Holmberg, born in Texas but grew up in Port Charlotte, Florida. He is only 22 years old.
And he won't be 23 for another week or so when he turns 23 later on here in the month of July. 6 feet 3 inches tall, 225 pounds, a left-hander that has a pretty good changeup, and I think you're going to see him use that a lot. That's a good weapon against right-handed hitters. His breaking ball will be a good weapon against the lefties that the Cubs throw up there, and they really don't throw all that many left-handers at you. So that changeup will be important for him, but you know he's got to be very nervous tonight. This is what you work for, even though he's had a major league debut before. This is one that he knows that is only going to be a one shot for him. You come up, you pitch a second game of a doubleheader, you're going back to AAA, but you know he wants to leave a good taste behind when he leaves.
Let's take a look at the Reds behind Holmberg, presented by your Ford dealers. Hamilton in center, starting both ends of the double dip, flanked by Ludwig and Schumacher. Frazier, Cozart, Phillips, and Bruce all started and played the entirety of Game 1 with a battery of Barnhart and David Holmberg. Holmberg had very, very good numbers coming up through the Diamondbacks organization. A .500 pitcher, but an ERA in the very low threes. And he had some very, very good years, including a year ago when his ERA was at 2.75, and the first pitch he throws is in the air down the left field line, out of play, strike one, and we're underway as Junior Lake is behind 0-1. Holmberg originally drafted by the White Sox in the second round in 2009. Acquired by the Diamondbacks. That was a huge deal involving Daniel Hudson, who unfortunately for Arizona has been hurt for 2 years. He looked like he had a chance to be a really good pitcher. And that was for Edwin Jackson. Yes, the same one that started and got beaten Game 1 of this series last night. Fly ball off the end of the bat to Billy Hamilton, and that takes care of Junior Lake. That deal going from the White Sox to Arizona was in 2010. And then part of the three-way deal involving Ryan Hannigan, Heath Bell, a couple of other players in a three-team trade, bringing Holmberg from Arizona to Cincinnati during this offseason. Now Justin Ruggiano, and it's in there, strike. He is not an overpowering pitcher,
which is more important that he hits the corners than ever before. I mean, you're looking at his fastball anywhere from 88 to maybe 90, 91 at the most you're going to see. But you know, for most left-handers, that's not the big deal. It's where you throw that breaking ball and how deceptive you are with the changeup. I think Holmberg is the type of pitcher that would rather you hit his pitch rather than swing and miss it.
That's up on a check swing. He did not go around on the appeal. It should be noted that during his minor league career, and it is again during the minor leagues, but he has averaged almost a strikeout per inning. And that one lined softly in the right. That'll be a one-out single for Ruggiano.
Ruggiano in a hitter's count, and he just gets a pitch that's down. I mentioned earlier, you know, in this series that when Ruggiano comes to the plate, you want to keep the ball down. Tremendous power when you get the ball up around the letters. Those throwback uniforms the Cubs are wearing tonight.
How you like those?
Yeah, they're okay.
Now left-handed batting Anthony Rizzo. And that one gets through Barnhart, and Ruggiano will move into scoring position.
nerves right there. Nerves. You get Rizzo up there. You know, you go over the scouting report with the pitcher, and you know, obviously they say that, hey, Rizzo and Starlin Castro, those are the two best hitters. Those are the guys you got to watch. You know, don't hang your breaking ball. And so the first thing you do is you go out there and you overthrow that slider and bounce in the dirt.
Rizzo, the Cubs leader, with 18 home runs, second only to Castro, and runs batted in with 47. Holmberg a glance back and now to the plate, and it's in there. Oh, it called a little bit low, I guess. 2-0. Rizzo 0 for 3 with a walk in game 1 of the doubleheader. Runner at second, 1 out, just underway here in game 2. Lined hard into right, but right at Schumacher. 2 away in the inning.
That's why they wear gloves. Well, that's pretty good plate coverage right there for Rizzo. That ball really on the borderline of even being a ball, low and away, and he puts that good of a swing on it and hits it that hard.
I think Ruggiano's out there taking one more look at Schumacher, because he caught that ball and immediately fired a strike to Cozart. And Ruggiano is sort of walking back to the bag. If Cozart is standing on the base, they may have doubled up Ruggiano. Strike 1 to Starlin Castro. Castro on his way to the All-Star game again this year. It'll be his 3rd at the age of 24 years old. He is only the 3rd shortstop in Cubs franchise history to earn at least 3 All-Star nods, joining the great Ernie Banks. He went to 9 as a shortstop. And Don Kessinger, who went to the All-Star game 6 times. 1 ball and 1 strike. Told you the division leading Brewers will be getting started in about 20 minutes from now. They're at home against Philadelphia. And the Pirates and the Cardinals will be meeting in game 2 of their 4-game series. That's coming up in about 25 minutes from now. Pull the string on Castro there. Pretty nice pitch.
Well, that's his calling card pitch, and we talked about the changeup. And he gives good arm action on it. He sells you it like it's a fastball coming through right there, and you see the little dip of that ball, and Castro thinks he's got a nice meat fastball to hit and realizes he's way out in front.
So the crowd getting behind this rookie left-hander. He's ahead of Castro. The ball and 2 strikes. Runner at second base. 2 outs in the inning. Came with a fastball that misses low and in.
You talk about Castro and the other Cubs who made the All-Star team. I would have thought, and I just looked it up to find out, that I would have thought that Sean Dunston had more than just 2 All-Star appearances. 1988, 1990. It just seems like he was a really fine shortstop.
He sure was. There's that changeup again. And Castro hooks it to the left side. So well done, David Holmberg. He gives up a hit and a man left. Reds are coming up when we return. The first inning we go. Reds coming to bat in a scoreless game. Let's take a look at Ryan Price's starting lineup presented by Meyer against the left-hander Wada. Hamilton at center, Frazier at third, Brandon at second, Jay Bruce again at first, Ryan Ludwig at left, Skip Schumacher at right. A ladder third of Zach Cozart, Tucker Barnhart, David Holmberg. Tsuyoshi Wada pitched in Japan for a number of years, in fact an entire decade, where he threw the ball brilliantly, pitched for Team Japan in the WBC. But tonight his major league debut, you see his numbers, very good numbers, at AAA Iowa.
Yeah, he was a real control specialist down there, and not only that, but he had a lot of strikeouts too. Only 26 walks, a strikeout per inning, or a little bit even more than that for Wada. He's a guy that relies more on a fastball, where we will see Holmberg rely on his changeup a lot. Wada is a pitcher that, even though his fastball is not going to light up the radar gun, he's got deception. He's got a quick hand up behind his left ear, and it gives the batter the impression that he's throwing harder than he really is. And they say he really relies on that fastball and gets a lot of strikeouts that way.
Wada won 107 games against just 61 losses with an ERA of 3.13 in 207 starts, 210 games. While pitching in Japan, his first year was 2003, pitched till 2011. And he'll be facing Billy Hamilton. Hamilton settling in, and a pitch on the way is taken high, ball one. Billy 2 hits, a double, scored a run. That came in the opening inning. Reds scored 3 times in game 1 in inning number 1 against their former teammate Travis Wood. 1-1 on Hamilton, and there's that fastball up in the zone.
Yeah, you know, it's almost like facing a smaller version of Tony Cingrani. He throws a lot of four-seamers. It doesn't sink. It almost gives the appearance that it rises. It's a pitch you need to lay off.
And he lays off at that time. 2 balls and a strike.
So he's only 5'11", 180 pounds, but he's got a very long stride for a pitcher. And you see he almost drags his back knee. That shows me he's got a really long stride. And will make that high fastball very deceptive. And that's why he can throw it at 90 miles an hour right by guys up in the zone. But he's got a little peck of trouble coming here when he walks Billy Hamilton to get it going.
Well, you brought it up last night when Edwin Jackson walked Billy Hamilton on 4 pitches to lead off the game. Hamilton took off running a few pitches later when Todd Frazier singled into left, sending Hamilton to third, and he scored on a sac fly by Brandon Phillips. And we mentioned Brandon scored in the first inning in the first game today. We'll see if he can make it 3 in a row in this series. Well, we learned just a short while ago that Todd Frazier has been selected by the National League captain Troy Tulowitzki as one of the National League's participants in the Home Run Derby, which will take place on Monday night at Target Field in Minneapolis. Each league will have 5 players representing their respective leagues. 4 have been announced, with 1 more still to come later in the week. National League will have Tulowitzki, Giancarlo Stanton, Yasiel Puig, and Todd Frazier. Easy double play ball here. Let's take a look at the Cubs on defense, presented by your Ford dealers. Coughlin starts for the 2nd straight game. Junior Lake in center, Ruggiano at right. Castro, Barney, Rizzo all started in game 1. Olt gets a nod in game 2 down at third, with a battery of Wellington, Castillo, and Wada. Phillips taking an extra minute or two to settle in. 2 away, nobody on. Scoreless game, last of the first inning. 0-1. Brandon 1 hit in 4 at bats, knocked in a run. His second of this series earlier today. And it's 2-0. Well, now Wada going to walk off the back of the mound, go to the rosin bag. Well, we talked about his career numbers, striking out during his days in Japan, almost 1,330 batters, and he only walked 395. That is an outstanding ratio of strikeouts to walks. So when you see a guy missing so badly, it's not a stretch to say it has a lot to do with nerves and making your major league debut. One hopper down to Mike Holt, and that'll do it for the Reds in the first inning. End of 1, no score. Drill if a red hits a home run off the Toyota sign out by the power stacks. Tonight, Tim Wilking from Cincinnati would win that beautiful new Tundra. And you can register for your chance to win it at an upcoming game. To stop by your Cincinnati and or Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. Tim, good luck. Good crowd for the back end of this day-night doubleheader. And it has turned out to be a glorious weather night. Couple little pop-up showers just before game time, and certainly cooler temperatures coming in behind it. Wellington Castillo against David Holmberg to begin the second inning. Holmberg allowed a 1-out single through a wild pitch, advancing that runner to second base, but he got Rizzo on a liner to right and Castro on a ground ball to short to strand the runner in scoring position. Fastball just off the outside corner, 1-1 on Castillo. He'll be followed by Mike Holt and Chris Coghlan. Obviously a lot of bright spots in game 1 when you come away with a 4-2 win, but Chris, maybe the one that has to have Brian Price especially excited is the work turned in by reliever Manny Parra today.
Yeah, no doubt about it, because he hasn't been used very much. He had a little bit of a tender arm for a while, and that's a pretty good pitch there. A little backdoor curveball from Holmgren. Very nicely done. And you never really know, Tom. I mean, the Reds don't have a lot of left-handers down in the minor leagues that are major league ready. Holmgren might be under consideration, or Holmberg, that is, that might be under consideration to be a left-handed reliever at some point if he puts in a good enough show here this evening. But I think what Manny Parra came out and did today was outstanding. Even though we lost Anthony Rizzo on an at-bat where he had him 0-2, he came right back with bases loaded, took care of the inning, got a standing ovation from the crowd, and then Jumbo Diaz came in and did a tremendous job. And there were a lot of things to look forward to in this ball game, and I'm sure they're looking forward to seeing how Holmberg will do this evening.
2-1 account on Mike Olt. And that one down and in, 3 balls and 1 strike. Big Jumbo Diaz, boy, was he impressive today.
Tell you, if he locates his stuff, there's no stopping him. I mean, he throws up around high 90s. He's got a slider 88 to 91 miles an hour with a little bite on it.
There's a walk issued to Olt. First walk of the game by Holmberg. And here comes Chris Coghlan. Coghlan had a big night here last night. We talked about this young man, and like a lot of people felt like he was going to be an outstanding player for many, many years to come, and it still might turn out to be the case. He's still relatively young. Matched a career high with 4 base hits last night, went 4 out of 5, 2 doubles, scored a couple of runs. Was brought up from Iowa at the very beginning of May, and has played in a little better than 50 games now for the Cubs. That one in the dirt, and the runner stays put. And then in game 1 of this doubleheader, Coghlan clubbed a home run off Johnny Cueto. That's when the Cubs went back-to-back, Coghlan and Sweeney, after the Reds had built a 3-1 lead. That brought them within a run in the 6th inning. Well, the Reds got that run back in the bottom of the inning. Santiago driving in a run, and that turned out to be the final score. Coghlan launches one to right, and it is gone. A 2-run home run by Coghlan, and Chicago jumps in front 2-0. What a series it has been for Chris Coghlan. 6 hits, 2 home runs, and 2 doubles.
Well, he's trying to go down the way Holmberg is, and you can see that he pretty much cuts it right down the center of the plate. Looked like for a moment there that Schumacher might have a chance to bring that back. It just went right over his glove, and they have not had a whole lot to celebrate about in that Cubs dugout, but they're happy now.
Darwin Barney is swinging a miss on a breaking ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. That one laced into left center field. Ludwig able to knock it down, but Barney will cruise in with a double. Third hit of the game. And the Cubs have a runner at second with 1 out, leading 2-0 here in the 2nd inning. And a pitcher Wada coming up.
This is the changeup, and you see that circle change grip. He'll get out there and pronate it, turn it over a little bit, but look how high it is in the zone. You just can't throw a changeup waist high on the outer part of the plate and expect to get a ground ball out of it. all you got to do is move that ball down about 6 inches, and it's a really good pitch. But it's all about location. When you don't throw hard, and Holmberg does not throw all that hard, you got to really hit your spots.
No sign of a bunt from the pitcher Wada. And really, it's very interesting, the Reds defense here. They're believing with 1 out of the inning, there's no chance that Wada will be thinking about putting down a bunt. Look where Jay Bruce is playing. He's a good 15 feet behind the bag. Likewise for Frazier over at third base. 2-0.
In college, Wada was a tremendous pitcher, and he was also a very good hitter. In fact, he hit cleanup for his college team. Two-time participant in the Olympics. First played for Japan in 2008 in the World Baseball Classic.
Holmberg nowhere near the plate, has fallen behind 3-0. And he walks the opposing pitcher on 4 in a row. Jeff Pico, the Reds pitching coach, will come out and visit with Holmberg, who's allowed 4 consecutive batters to reach after fanning Wellington Castillo to begin this inning. He walked Old, a 147 batter, gave up the 2-run home run to Coughlin. Allowed Barney, a 215 batter, to double into left center, and then walks a pitcher on 4 in a row.
Well, the important thing for David Holmberg right here is to stay aggressive. Don't start picking at the corners now that you've walked the opposing pitcher. You put that away in your head, and you go right after Junior Lake. You got him out on a changeup before. You concentrate on keeping the ball down.
One and 0 the count on Junior Lake. And there's a fly ball into right field. Schumacher, shy of the track, will make the catch. Tagging and going on to third is Barney. 2 away in the inning and 1 more out to go for Holmberg. One of the things, Chris, you notice right away is that Holmberg works off the very third base edge of the rubber. What does that tell you, if anything?
Tells me he likes his changeup, because his best pitch, he's going to face the majority of right-handers, and his changeup will move away from right-handers, and that'll give him the best angle. And I haven't seen him yet. I did not notice whether he moved over on the rubber when he faced the left-hander, but if you feel like your repertoire of pitches are going to be different against lefties and righties, there's nothing wrong with moving to the first base side when a left-hander stands up there, because it gives you a better angle on your curveball.
Back-to-back changeups, and he'll have a chance to end the inning with a good throw, and he does. So a good recovery there, retiring Lake and Ruggiano. Coughlin homers, and the Cubs lead 2-0. you by Elk & Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK Ohio. Take a look at the Reds starting pitching. Going back to June the 21st, they played a total of 151 innings. 82% of those innings, the highest among all teams in Major League Baseball, have been thrown by the starting pitchers, and that includes Johnny Cueto's outing, working into the 7th inning today. They have just been unbelievable. And Chris, you just think of what a little more offense from this team up until this recent run. But I mean, heck, they were shut out 3 times last week alone. You think about any more offense going back to when this season began, and what this Reds record right now at 5 games over 500, what it would look like.
You're right, because the bullpen has been pretty much airtight on those games in which they lead, you know, going into the 8th or 9th inning. You know, the other thing you consider when you look at that stat that we just showed you about the number of innings pitched by starters, so many teams out there, even good teams, struggle with their 4th and 5th starter, especially their 5th starter, and rarely is it the same guy all year long. Oftentimes it's, you know, a guy you got out of AAA, and then maybe a journeyman 4A pitcher, and then you trade for somebody else, and so on. The Reds have not had that problem. They send 5 quality pitchers out at you day after day after day. And that is something that very few managers in the major leagues have, that particular little chip in their pocket.
And really, you know, knowing that Matt Latos was going to begin the year on the disabled list, as Jay Bruce leads things off here in the bottom of the 2nd inning with the Cubs leading 2-0, and it's 0-2. Alfredo Simon was the number 5 starter in the Reds rotation when this season began. And when he pitches tomorrow, he has a chance to be pitching for the most wins in the National League. Now, once the season got going, I think it was pretty clear that Tony Cingrani was the number 5 guy. And ever since Latos has come back and Cingrani's gone back to the minor leagues, I don't know how in the world you could ever decipher who would be considered on this staff right now the number 5 guy. None of them.
Well, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the year, when you get to the postseason, you don't worry about who is 4 and 5. You worry about who is 1 and 2.
No, but what I'm saying is that if you had to decide on a postseason starting rotation tomorrow, you would have a really hard time making that decision if you're Brian Price. I mean, we know Johnny Cueto, but after that, you can make an argument for every single one of those guys.
Sure could.
Darwin Barney, a nice play there to his right. Throws out Bruce. Alfredo Simon will get the ball here tomorrow night in search of win number 12 against only 3 losses, a sparkling ERA at 2.7, as we talked about last night. He still has, one would imagine, a better than average chance of being on the National League All-Star team. And Homer Bailey will get the ball in the series finale against another Cub making his major league debut. That'll be Kyle Hendricks. 12:35 game on Thursday. Philadelphia's jumped in front of Milwaukee, already scoring a run in the top of the 1st inning. And they're just underway. Pittsburgh in St. Louis. And the Brewers team has lost 7 out of 8 games. They came back 1-5 on a trip through Toronto and then Cincinnati. And then they lost again last night in the opener to the Phillies.
Well, they've got 9-game winner Willie Peralta on the mound for them tonight. The Phillies are sending out Kyle Kendrick. I can imagine, though, that the Brewers are beginning to hear some footsteps, not only from just one team, but from 3 teams kind of breathing on each other.
That ball is hammered down the left field line by Ludwig, and that will rattle off the wall. Losing his footing out there was Coghlan, so it'll be a 1-out double by Ryan Ludwig, and he has the first Reds hit of the night against Water.
And Ryan was not too pleased about the first pitch that he saw that was called a strike. He looked back at the home plate umpire and said, "What?" And then Wada tries to get a fastball in, and Ludwig, if he had gotten a little bit more air under this ball, would have had a chance to get out of here.
Skip Schumacher the batter. 252 hitter, a home run and 14 runs batted in. Ball one away. Breaking ball snaps in there on the inside corner to even the count. Short left field, coming in Coghlan to get it. And retreating back to second base, Ludwig, 2 out. Well, right now you can tweet your fan photo using hashtag #OhioFanPhoto, and perhaps we'll show it during an upcoming game. It's brought to you by AT&T. We'll have our fan photo of the game coming up later tonight. So now a 2-out scoring chance for Zach Cozart. And he bangs it into center field, a base hit. They are going to hold Ludwig at third. Junior Lake getting to that ball quickly in center field and hit the cutoff man Rizzo. So the Reds have him on the corners for Tucker Barnhart.
Well, hit it very sharply, did Cozart, and that coupled with the fact that Junior Lake is playing fairly shallow. It looks like the Cubs have brought their infield in a little bit. That nearly took the cap right off of Wada as it went through the box. And Lake is a good arm. He didn't have to even get too far to get to it. It would have been a strong throw and a wise decision there by Steve Smith to hold the runner at third.
So now Barnhart, playing in his 11th game. He has 3 hits and 28 at bats. One of those hits, a home run. To Tucker Barnhart, and behind 0-2. Ludwig with a 1-out double here in the second inning. Advances to third on the 2-out single by Cozart. And now the Reds are leaning heavily, rookie against rookie, on their rookie backstop Barnhart to get the Reds on the board. The 0-2 pitch, nope, he'll send Cozart back to the bag at first.
Well, if you're thinking that they have seen each other before because they've both been all year long in the minor leagues, not the case. The Iowa Cubs are in the PCL, Pacific Coast League. Of course, the Louisville Bats are in the International League.
Wada wanted that call on a 2-strike pitch, does not get it. Nice block there by Santiago to Wellington Castillo. I beg your pardon. That's textbook there by Castillo.
He had no choice. I mean, he just didn't even try to block it with his glove. He just knew he just had to get his body in front of it. It's a changeup that he kind of pulled a little bit. Instead of turning his hand over, he kind of pulled it through, and he's obviously been watching some CBTS Tech Talk.
2-2 on Tucker Barnhart with 2 on and 2 men out. I have no doubt that Wellington Castillo, as he travels around the National League and sometimes during interleague play, he is having the Cubs video coordinator make sure that he is dialed in to CBTS Tech Talk.
Now, we've had all the catchers break it down, including Mike Stefanski, who might break it down better than anybody I've ever seen.
Back to the mound. And Wadigan underhand to first, and that'll end the inning. The Reds strand a couple, and they're down a couple at the end of a couple from Cincinnati.
Live page. Check out awesome photos of the majestic sky at Great American Ballpark last night and see what NBA insider Sam Amico has to say about the latest on NBA free agency. Check it all at foxsportsohio.com. Brought to you by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. Drive safe. Spend less. I'm Jim Day. Brian Pena back from paternity leave. Still dealing with a forearm issue, so not in there tonight. But congratulations to him, because his wife gave birth to their 3rd child, and he was gracious enough to share a couple of pictures. Meet Isabella right there. 7 pounds, 6 ounces, 20 inches long. And right now he's got 2 boys and 1 girl. And there you see all the kids with Brian right there. Big smile on his face. And Tom, you mentioned earlier about me predicting the next baby. Well, forget about that, because he said after 2 boys and 1 girl, quote, the factory's closed.
Well, congratulations to the Peñas. That's great stuff. Nothing better than that. Greatest miracle of all. David Holmberg working on Anthony Rizzo, a count of 0-1, and that one straight into the air and deep into the night, and Chicago has a 3-0 lead. Second home run allowed by Holmberg tonight. Gave up a 2-run homer to a left-handed batting Coghlan, and now a solo shot to left-handed batting Rizzo.
He gave up an absolute line drive bullet the first time to Rizzo. It was gloved by Schumacher. That ball was hit a mile high. And look at the pitch location right there. You just can't throw him out over the plate. It's like facing Adam Dunn. His home run pitch is right there on the outer edge of the plate. thigh high to waist high, maybe even a little bit higher than that at times. And being left-handed, Holmberg has to get used to pitching him inside, right underneath his hands.
That one dumped into right field, a base hit by Castro. It's already 5 hits for the Cubs in the game tonight, and we're 3 batters into the 3rd inning with nobody out. So now Wellington Castillo, Reds down 3-0. We're in the 3rd inning. Castro not much of a base stealing threat despite his youth. Only a couple of steals. He's been thrown out a couple of times. Breaking ball, check, swing and a miss. 0-1 to Castillo. Brewers have tied the game against Philadelphia 1-1, and they have the bases loaded in the bottom of the 1st inning. Pirates and Cardinals are scoreless that game in the 2nd. Well, the game that matters to the Reds is a game in which they are playing. And they have fallen behind 3-0 here in the top of the 3rd inning. Broken bat, fly ball to left field, and Ludwig is there, and that's out number 1 here in the Chicago 3rd after a home run and a single started. Well, Fox Sports Ohio is taking over the Reds ticket office tonight, and we have a great deal for you. Tickets to this Friday and Sunday's games against the Pirates. $10. You can get a ticket right now. $10. You have to go to Reds.com/FSOhio right now. Use the code FS10, FS10, and you can get a $10 ticket to either Friday night's game or Sunday afternoon's game this weekend when the Pirates come to town. Fly ball into left field by Mike Olt, and that is the 3rd home run allowed by Holmberg, and it is 5-0 Chicago.
Fool him right off the spot. I think that's a changeup, but he's just not getting that ball to back up for him. And it is good hitting when you throw that ball thigh high on the inner 3rd, especially with a guy like Mike Olt, who's got a big swing, very powerful swing. He can hit it a long way.
Three home runs allowed by Holmberg in a 5-0 Chicago lead. The Cubs have scored more runs in the last 2 innings, or as many runs in the last 2 innings as they have scored in the first 2 games of this series. 1-1 to Coghlan. Well, the Reds have action in their bullpen already. They're not going to let this thing turn into a rout. They've got work to do, trailing 5-0. We have a long way to go. Carlos Contreras begins to crank it up. Now, the Reds had a decision to make, and it really came down to two pitchers as to which one they were going to bring up for a spot start in this series. And they went with the youngster. They went with Holmberg here tonight. And they also had available Chien-Ming Wang, who of course pitched for the New York Yankees for a number of years. He's bounced around since then with
19-game winner in the major leagues.
A number of injuries, and he's having a very good year.
And of course, part of the problem with Wang is that he is not on the 40-man roster. That sometimes it's tougher for a club to make that decision when you have to take someone else off the roster, expose them to waivers, and maybe be picked up by another ball club. And with the way that Holmberg was evidently throwing the ball, at least according to the reports that we heard, Tom, and you know, we didn't get down there to see him. I haven't seen any video of him, but I'm sure he's going to tell you he just wasn't hitting the spots tonight. And when you hit your spots here, they hit you.
And he has walked the left-handed batter Coghlan. 3 of those in the game, including one of the pitcher. And C.J. Pico on the telephone. They might make a change right now if Contreras is ready to go.
Well, if you can't get the left-hander out, and you've got a right-hander warming up, and you got nothing but right-handers coming along until you get down to Rizzo, they'll probably go with the odds.
Well, for the time being, they're going to leave him in to face Darwin Barney, who doubled against Holmberg into left center field his only time up. So the Cubs have 5 runs, and 5 runs is a number of runs the Milwaukee Brewers end up scoring in the bottom of the first inning. 4 of those coming on a grand slam by Lyle Overbay. So the Brewers with an early 4-run lead against Philadelphia. The Reds, after their win in game 1 of a doubleheader, had moved into a 3rd place tie with the Pirates. Only 4.5 games behind front-running Milwaukee. Little number. Some indecision there, but the runner is safe at first base. Of course, you have a brand new first baseman. The pitcher did not go for the ball. He went to the bag. Jay Bruce wasn't sure if he was going to get the ball or going to go to the bag. And everybody's safe.
Now, this could be a hairy play even for an experienced first baseman, because you've got to flip the ball to a pitcher who now has his back turned to first base. Holmberg simply too late getting over there.
So the Reds' debut of Holmberg is a short night, and it might turn into a long night. Oh, apparently they're not making a change here.
Now, that was a talk to go out to the first base umpire to see if it was worth a review.
Well, you have the pitcher spot due to lead off the next inning. Of course, you can always double switch if you so choose. Clearly, that was a right call. Barney beating that out, and it'll be scored an infield hit. And now Wada already shortening up to put down a bunt. Throw down to second base, not in time, and Holmberg has still not thrown Wada a strike. He walked him on 4 pitches, you may remember, his first time up. Punted. And Holmberg will take the out at first. Looked like he had a play at third, but He feeds Brandon Phillips in the bag. Give Watt the sacrifice, and there are 2 outs in the inning. And now the Reds are going to make a change with right-handed batting Junior Lake coming up. 2 2/3 for David Holmberg in his Reds debut here tonight. He allowed 7 hits, 3 walks, and 3 home runs, and leaves trailing with runners at second and third, 5-0. Contreras, our skyline, called to the bullpen. We'll be back in a moment. And what's going through David Holmberg's mind right now. I mean, that's clearly not the kind of outing he was hoping for when this one got underway. His first game in the big leagues as a Red.
You know, Tom, it's just one of those games where it just snowballs on you. He didn't get his first pitches in there for strikes, so that the Cubs are waiting back on him, and you know, he made mistake pitches. And when you make mistakes here, they are going to be all over them. 3 home runs he gave up on pitches that he's going to go back and look on the video, and he's going to say, man, I threw that ball right down the middle. But at 22 years old, there'll be another day for David Holmberg.
So now it'll be Carlos Contreras, another rookie. Comes in with runners at second and third and 2 outs. Hey, this is an important batter in this game. 5-0. You've got a shot. 7-0. You've got a shot, but it is a long shot. Contreras working in his 3rd game since being brought up from the minor leagues. And it looked like Lake went around, and on the appeal, agreeing is Mark Wegner. 1 ball and 1 strike. A pair of fly ball outs, 1 to center, 1 to right for Junior Lake. Runners at second and third. And that time they say he didn't go around. Coughlin and Barney the runners at third and second. And a 2-1 to Lake. Popped up. Good job by Contreras. Cozart's got it, and that's all. A couple of home runs. The Cubs scored 3 in the 3rd and lead 5-0.
It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, a reminder, coming up later on, we'll have our Miller Time moment, brought to you by Miller Lite. Check in with Jim Day.
Well, the Reds were in a dilemma there, as you talked about, with the pitcher spot leading off, not wanting to make a double switch so early in this game. So when Carlos Contreras came into the dugout, he surprisingly found out, hey, you're going to hit. He looked around and had to figure out a batting helmet for him. Then he went through the bat rack and went through about 6 bats before Todd Frazier handed one he liked. He stepped into the on-deck circle, and then Billy Hamilton said, hey, man, you want some batting gloves? So Billy Hamilton gave him some batting gloves. So he's finally ready and digging in, see what he can do.
Already this 23-year-old Dominican.
So this is kind of like a team at bat right here. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I think it's just a getting loose swing right there.
And he strikes out on 3 pitches, 1 away. The first strikeout, first major league strikeout for Wada. Reds are down 5-0, but we're only in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Billy Hamilton walked, leading off the bottom of the 1st inning. And before he could even think about running, Todd Frazier bounced into a double play. Reds have 2 hits the first time through the batting order against Wada, who, if you're just joining us, is making his major league debut here tonight. Pitched for nearly a decade in Japan, and has been having a very good year in the Cubs minor league system, pitching for their AAA team in Iowa. That ball driven into left, but room out there for Coughlin at the warning track. 2 up, 2 down here in the Reds' 3rd inning. Well, of course, the stars will align 1 week from tonight. The 2014 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Don't miss the action. That'll be coming your way on Fox Tuesday, July the 15th from Target Field in Minnesota. We brought up last night the Reds organization sending right around 30 members of their front office, all different levels of the organization and all the different areas of the organization, to go take a look at everything that goes on in and around leading up to, during, and after an All-Star game. Because, as you know, the 2015 All-Star game will be right here at Great American Ballpark. For the Reds, it'll be the first time they've had the All-Star game since 1988, and that was back at old Riverfront Stadium. They had 2 of them in that ballpark. Two and one on Todd Frazier. And now the count even up. Now, I've never been to Target Field. Have you been there yet?
Have not, no.
Curious what kind of a home run hitter's ballpark that place is. Talk about Todd Frazier. He'll be part of the home run derby for the National League that was announced just before the game tonight.
Now, if the winner of the All-Star game gets home field advantage in the World Series, what does the winner of the home run hitting contest get?
I don't know. I know that they have a chance when they go up there to win fans something. A new home, if I'm not mistaken.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Wada taking a long look in. Frazier waiting on him, and now the payoff pitch is on the way. And that one lined into the mid of a diving Darwin Barney, and that's a nice play by the Cubs second baseman. And he gets a nice round of applause from the crowd here in Cincinnati for that effort. Player in each league, and that's up until Tuesday, July the 10th. Thursday, July the 10th. I beg your pardon. Day after tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You go to Reds.com and cast your All-Star Game final vote. Anthony Rizzo of the Chicago Cubs is one of the 5 players left on the ballot for the National League team, as it's ball 1 to Justin Ruggiano for Carlos Contreras. Justin Morneau, Anthony Rizzo, Anthony Rendon, Casey McGee, Justin Upton. The quintet. That you can choose from to be the final member of the National League's All-Star team. 3-0 on Ruggiano. David Holmberg in his Reds debut allowed 7 hits, 3 walks, 5 runs, including 3 home runs. Contreras came on for him to get the final out in the 3rd inning, stranding 2, and Contreras has walked the leadoff batter. Ruggiano here in the Chicago 4th, with the Cubs already leading 5-0. You know, it goes back to something that Chris was talking about earlier, and how unbelievable, and it truly is the word to describe this Red starting rotation and the way this group has pitched. 6 of them before tonight. Here's a swing and a miss on a ball that hit Rizzo, but he had already swung the bat. Didn't that hit him?
It sure did. If it didn't, it was going to if he hadn't fouled it off. I mean, this is why you got to pitch this guy and say it did hit him. Didn't even deflect it.
Straight away center field for Billy Hamilton. 1 out. But, you know, getting back to this rotation, with an earned run average of barely over 2 going back to the middle of June, and the Reds rank in the top 3 in all of Major League Baseball in starting pitchers as a staff ERA. They just never have games like this.
You're right.
And I'm not saying like it's been a while. They never have games like this. Now, you would be very hard pressed to find a game the last time where a Red starter was not in the game in the 5th or 6th inning.
Even the last bad loss they had, I think, was in San Diego. Wasn't that an 8-2 loss, the game that Mike Leake pitched?
Yep.
I still think he pitched into the 6th inning, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah, but these are the kind of games that there are a lot of teams out there that suffer from several times a month. Where you look up and all of a sudden you're down by 4 or 5 early in the game. You got to start unloading your bullpen. You're hoping your team can come back.
Well, Contreras did not even look at Ruggiano. He took off running and goes in standing up. One now on Starlin Castro. High fly ball into deep left center field. Hamilton appears to have room, and what a catch by Billy Hamilton. That ball continued to carry a little bit, and they nearly doubled off Ruggiano. And Brian Price is going to make sure they didn't double off Ruggiano. We brought up earlier when Ruggiano was at second base, Skip Schumacher nearly threw him out from right field on a routine fly ball to right field, as Ruggiano was slow to get back to the bag. And that's a ball driven to the very deepest area of left center field, where the Reds almost doubled up Ruggiano on a cutoff throw. And they're not going to appeal this play. They're not going to challenge the play. That's just good baseball.
That is crisp baseball
really
right
crisp.
there. I just love the way that Kozar gets his ball and doesn't even hesitate and just fires it on the money. Boy, if you can buy it out like that, it just makes everybody feel good.
Well, this Reds defense has just been spectacular the entire year. Between the starting rotation and the defense, those are without question the 2 best and most consistently solid performing areas of this team this year. The offense has been real up and down. The bullpen has been up and down outside of, by and large, LeCure for sure. Broxton and Chapman, once both of them came off the DL. But man, you look at starting pitching and you look at team defense. The Reds have committed the fewest number of errors of any team in baseball. That is a tight defensive unit. And I don't know what's going on in Milwaukee tonight, but the Phillies got a run in the first inning. The Brewers got 5 in the bottom of the first inning. The Phillies have scored 5 times, and they are still batting in the top of the second inning against Willie Peralta, if he's even in the game. 3-2 now on Wellington Castillo. Brewers came in here and pitched well over the weekend, that's for sure. But they're not getting the same pitching that they've received most of this year over the last couple of weeks.
Now both starters are still in that ball game. Kyle Kendrick has given up 5. Peralta has given up 6.
3-2 to Castillo, and he went around a foul tip out of the mid of Barnhart.
Hey, another game that is interesting as far as starting pitching goes is that game that they had in Detroit between the Dodgers and the Tigers. Injun Ryu, who really shut down the Reds, pitched 2 1/3 and gave up 10 hits and 7 runs, and Justin Verlander gave up 5 in the first inning. Wow, although he is still in the ball game.
And we understand that they were booing Justin Verlander in Detroit during that first inning tonight.
But right now the Tigers have a 10-5 lead. So one more inning for Verlander and he qualifies for the win. Booze and all.
In the air over to the third base side, and a third consecutive foul ball out of play off the bat of Castillo. Pitch number 9 in this at bat is swung on and fouled out of play. So pitch number 10 is coming up. Two once more on Wellington Castillo. Down the left field line. Will this one be playable? A long run for Ryan Ludwig, and it's out of play. 5 consecutive foul balls off the bat of Castillo. .21 pitches been thrown by Contreras in this inning. 10 of the 21 in this at bat alone. Lance back at Ruggiano, and he walked him on a 3-2 breaking ball. So the inning will continue for Mike Holt. Been a big night for Mike Holt, and we're only in the 4th inning. He walked and scored in the second, hit a 2-run home run to left field his last time up. Holt hitting only 147 in this his rookie year. He does have 12 home runs with 29 batted in. 1-1 on Mike Holt. Contreras a pair of walks in this inning, trying to keep it at a 5-0 ball game. Well, they like the power of Mike Holt, that's for sure.
Well, he's got plenty of it. He got a changeup just about right down Broadway right there and hit it a long, long way. And that's the one thing that they really liked about him. Of course, he was a former #1 draft pick by the Texas Rangers. He was in that Matt Garza deal that also brought along a reliever that they have out there, Justin Grimm.
Garza wound up signing as a free agent. with the Milwaukee Brewers. Pitched a very good game here on Saturday night in a 1-0 win. Hamilton will chase it down in right center, and that's all. A scoreless fourth. Reds are down 5-0.
This Friday and Sunday's Reds versus Pirates matchup for just $10. That's right, $10. Go to reds.com/FSOhio right now. Use the code FS10 and get your tickets tonight. I'm Jim Day. Sun about to set here at Great American Ballpark. As you take a look at the sky, it's well, what a difference a day makes, because this sky right now, very much different than the sky we saw about this time last night. Take a look at a couple of pictures from last night, as it was unbelievable, the sky. And you guys talked about it last night. It looked like a kaleidoscope at times, just changing per second. And look at a shot from looking out from the third base view. Unbelievable pictures last night. A funny line, Tucker Barnhart said that Mike leaked between innings last night when he was resting while he was pitching, looked at him and said, "Are we all going to die?" Wasn't that bad. It was kind of eerie, but at the same time, very beautiful.
It was incredible last night. In fact, I was out very early this morning walking our dogs and saw a couple of other fellas around the neighborhood doing the same thing before they went off to work. And that's all they were talking about. Never seen anything like it. I think a lot of folks around the area would concur with that. Just a regular beautiful night here tonight. Beautiful summer night. Crystal clear skies. Reds have some work to do. They're trailing 5-0 against Tsuyoshi Wada, making his major league debut here. He has walked one batter. He allowed 2 hits in the second inning, but got Tucker Barnhart on a comebacker to the mound, stranding a pair. His offense got 2 in the second inning, 3 more coming in the third, and a 5-0 Chicago lead. Brandon Phillips fouls it away off to the first base side. 1 ball and 1 strike. Middle of the lineup, Phillips, Bruce, and Ludwig here in the fourth. Dribbler up the first baseline, foul. 2-2 to Brandon Phillips.
Now, the one thing that helps the Cubs in this situation is that Wada seems to be a strike throwing machine. And the easiest way to get back into a ball game is have the opposing pitcher begin to walk you and put runners on base, especially in this ballpark. But he obviously, over, what is he, 33 years old, he knows the value of throwing a ball over the plate when you're 5 runs up.
Phillips gone swinging, and that is his second strikeout of the night for Wada. Well, we invite you to get ready for Reds action 30 minutes before the start of every game right here on Fox Sports Ohio with Reds Live, presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. They coming your way again tomorrow night, 6:30 Eastern time, and then again on Friday night. No television on Thursday for that 12:35 game, the finale of this 5-game series. Jay Bruce looks at a slow breaking ball in there, strike 1. Cardinals have jumped in front of the Pirates 2-0. That game in the top of the 4th inning at Busch Stadium. Carlos Martinez on the mound in that game for St. Louis. Cardinals are trying to survive. They're going through what the Reds have been through most of this entire year. They're getting hit with a ton of injuries seemingly at the same time, and seemingly for the Cardinals all of theirs coming in their starting rotation. They lost Jaime Garcia and Michael Wacha 2 weeks ago on the very same day. It coincided with the very following day Shelby Miller had to leave a game with back problems after a couple of innings, and he's not been the same since. The only guy they've been able to count on is old reliable, and that's Adam Wainwright. Initially breaking back was Junior Lake, but had enough speed to come in and get it. And Wada's retired the first 2 here in the Reds' 4th inning. Ryan Ludwig doubled off the left field wall, his only time up.
Well, that's one reason why you read from time to time, and this time of year you hear so many rumors that the Cardinals might be in the David Price pursuit, because they really feel that they're not really sure when they're going to get Michael Wacha back.
No, not only Wacha, and looks like Garcia is probably not coming back anytime soon unless there's a dramatic turnaround in the news that we continue to hear. And the Cardinals generally are a team that keeps everything very close to the vest. In fact, all teams have to now.
Yeah.
But even Shelby Miller is clearly not pitching at 100%. And they're bringing guys either up from the minor leagues or, in Martinez's case, bringing him out of the bullpen. And because Martinez was pitching out of the bullpen, they're not letting him go out there and throw 100 pitches in a game. So Mike Matheny's having to go to that bullpen early seemingly every night, with the exception of the nights when Wainwright pitches. Last night he gave him 7 shutout innings. And the Cardinals wound up winning that game in the bottom of the 9th inning with Neshek getting the victory. Pirates have just tied that game, by the way, at 2-2 against Martinez. We were talking last night about what a great job the grounds crew does here at the ballpark, and all the ushers and the concessionaires, and how hard they work. Having a chance to watch the people and the folks they bring in to clean this stadium up in between games. Well, you talk about a group that gets a job done. A tip of the hat to them. This ballpark's sparkling clean when this second game of the doubleheader got underway. let's create great dishes together. Buy Toyota. For over 30 Toyota offers, visit buyatoyota.com. By T-Mobile, Tuesday night baseball. And by B-Dubs. Kick off your afternoon at B-Dubs with the best seats outside of Brazil this summer. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Beautiful night in downtown Cincinnati, Ohio. We're on our way to the 5th inning, and the Reds trailing after winning game 1 of this day-night doubleheader 4-2. They're behind 5-0. David Holmberg, if you're just joining us, making his second major league start. His first as a Red, lasting only 2 2/3 innings tonight, giving up 7 hits and 5 earned runs. Chris Coughlin's been bringing the energy to this Cub lineup. Look at those numbers during a 9-game hitting streak. He has 6 hits in this series. He homered in game 1 of this doubleheader and hit a 2-run home run to get the Cubs on the board in the 2nd inning here tonight.
That'll get him barking a little bit.
You know, Chris, you brought up the name David Price, and you know, would the Tampa Bay Rays trade Price? I think the Rays made it very clear early in the year that if they were in the hunt, they would not be trading him this year, even though he could walk at the end of the year as a free agent. There's a fly ball to left for out number 1. Well, the Baltimore Orioles all of a sudden have opened up a 3-game lead. They have been red hot, and they have raced right by slumping Toronto. The Jays have lost 5 in a row. Tampa Bay is 9.5 games out, despite the fact that they've won 8 of their last 10. And a lot of the rumors in St. Louis and a lot of the rumors around baseball that if the Cardinals want David Price, that conversation would begin with Oscar Taveras, their highly touted young outfielder, as being a player that would be moving the other way. And a lot of the folks in St. Louis say no way. At least that's a word on the street.
Well, I guess it comes down, Tom, to a decision for the Cardinals, like the same decision that the Oakland A's had to make this year. They gave away maybe one of the top prospects in baseball back to the Cubs when Addison Russell was sent over here. And they say that he may be the best prospect that the Oakland A's have ever had.
That one in the hole and through the hole in the left field base hit. Not to interrupt you, I got to correct myself. Something I said. Price is not a free agent until after next year.
So Billy Beane decided, well, this is the year that we're going to go for it. Now they're in a different market size, I think, Oakland and St. Louis. But with all the injuries that the St. Louis Cardinals have, I mean, there's a certain argument to be made for saying, hey, you know what? We've got a pretty good team. We think that we can go for it and get it again. If we're one pitcher away, that's the piece we need. Now, in the case of the Oakland A's, they didn't get just one. They got 2 pitchers.
2 away in the inning.
So, you know, there might be a lot of posturing going on. You're certainly not going to say, well, our best prospect is available if you want him. You know, make us an offer. It would be interesting to be involved in some of those trade talks from where they start to where they end. I imagine it's like any negotiation. You ask for something that you're probably not realistically thinking that you're going to get. But little by little, you whittle it down until both of you are just unhappy enough to make the deal.
I think it would be equally as interesting just to be on the inside as Junior Lake will bat with a runner at first and 2 out. Inside of, say, in this case, the Cardinals organization and their meetings. Because, you know, outside of David Wainwright, you look at Adam Wainwright, how young that starting rotation is. And even though guys might be hurt right now, Watkins, they don't know how long he'll be out, but they still have Watkins. They still have Miller. And Martinez wants to be a starter. And, you know, with all the youth they have on that pitching rotation, you know, maybe is somebody in that room saying, hold on a minute, guys. We've got a good team this year. We think that player A is going to come back. We know that in this case Taveras is going to be a regular part of our outfield for a long time. Why tinker around with a good thing going here for maybe having a guy for 1 year? Now, from a money standpoint, the Cardinals payroll went down from last year to this year because of all the young players that they have in the big leagues right now, guys that don't have a lot of service time. And, you know, Carlos Beltran and his hefty salary came off the books. So they are more than capable of, if they made a deal for David Price, they could certainly re-sign. There's a fly ball in the short right. Phillips all the way with an eye on that one, goes out to get it. And that'll end the inning. Reds will bat at the bottom of the 5th, and they are down 5-0. Baseball action beginning with the Cardinals taking on the Brewers. That'll be on Fox Sports 1. And then on Baseball Night in America on Fox, it'll be the Pirates and the Reds. Our MLB doubleheader begins Saturday at 3:30 Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Rolls right into prime time. 7 o'clock on Fox. And streaming live on Fox Sports Go. A couple of birthdays like to sneak in tonight. Happy birthday to Cleo Keffer of McConnellsville, Ohio. 92 years old today. Happy birthday, Cleo. And happy number 86 to Dick Shearer from Vandalia, Ohio. Dick now making his home in St. Mary's. Dick, we hope you're having a great day. And one for me personally, I'd like to send out a happy 50th birthday to Todd Trich, big Reds fan, watching the game from the left field upper deck with his Terrace Park 5th grade Little League baseball team. I tell you, he has put in a lot of time for a long time working for those youngsters and with those youngsters in knot-hole baseball. So Todd, happy number 50. Hanging out with the troops tonight. Strike one to Skip Schumacher, who leads things off here in the Reds' 5th inning against Wada. Wada's only allowed 2 hits, and both of them came in a span of 3 batters back in the 2nd inning. You
know, for Wada, this is somewhat of an audition because after all, the Cubs did create some opportunity for their starting rotation when they traded away Jeff Samardzija and Jason Hamill. You got to fill him in with somebody. This young man, or this 33-year-old, I mean, young man, yes, but by baseball standards, maybe not so.
Into center field.
Throwing the ball very well tonight. Now, the good news is for the Reds, they're only down by 5, and they've got a lot of baseball left. And you don't have to get all those 5 runs in one inning. But you would like to get momentum going into your favor, and maybe this base hit by Schumacher starts that.
Well, now Cozart, he bounced a single into center field his first time up. Reds at the time had Ludwig at second base, but Junior Lake came charging in so fast that they did not take the chance. They left it up to Tucker Barnhart, and he bounced out, stranding 2 to end the inning. Well, Willie Peralta is just getting lit up tonight in Milwaukee. He has given up 7 runs in the first 3 innings. Phillies leading the Brewers 7-5, that game in the bottom of the 3rd. Doing a rain delay, Baltimore and Washington. Cleveland up on the Yankees. We'll see the Yankees at first series after the All-Star break in the Bronx. The Friday, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon series to kick off the back end of the schedule. It's going to be a fun road trip to begin that second half. You go to Yankee Stadium for 3. And then right into Milwaukee. Two and two to Cozart. Barnhart on deck and in the pitcher spot. And the Reds already have action in their bullpen. They will not let Contreras bat again here in the bottom of the 5th. They have so many rested arms down there in that bullpen. Three and 2. Up behind the plate and over the screen and out of play.
And a veteran pitch right there. Go 3-2 count. I could kind of see Wada loading up that changeup in his hand, getting his index finger off of it, and really pulled the string on Cozart. The story on Wada is that when the Orioles signed him at age 30 in 2011, the winter of 2011 and 12. They really thought that he was going to move right in, either into their rotation or at the very least be a left-handed specialist reliever out of the bullpen. I mean, after all, they were getting a veteran. Then he got the spring training and his arm hurt. So sometime around May, he ended up getting Tommy John surgery, and he was done until the following May. So the first year they paid him, he didn't pitch for him. He didn't come back until the following May. Didn't really pitch all that well. Was down in the minor league, rehabbing and so on. Never got called back up. So the Orioles essentially went out and spent $8 million and got 0 in return. It's kind of interesting that he ended up here in Chicago, exactly where another former Oriole has really blossomed this year, and Jake Arrieta.
Well, he is really pitching well. Pitched a great game over the weekend, got no run support, did not figure in the decision. Cubs were shut out on Sunday in Washington.
On the verge of pitching a no-hitter, wasn't he?
Reds will not see him in this series. The only starter they will miss. If you've got to miss one right now in this Cubs rotation, even with some Argent Hammond, the guy you want to miss right now is Arrieta.
So really the Orioles have been a pretty good farm system for the Cubs. If Wada ends up sticking and pitching like this between now and the end of the year.
Pitch number 10 in this at bat, a leadoff single by Kozar by Schumacher. And 9 pitches so far. It's 3-2 on Zach Kozar. And there'll be an 11th pitch as he pulls it foul yet again. One will get through into left field, a base hit. Well, back-to-back singles by Schumacher and Kozar to get the Reds bottom of the 5th inning underway.
What a battling base hit right there for Zach Kozar. And I mean, he spoiled pitch after pitch. Look at all of those, and all of them down in the zone. And Wada finally threw one out there a little bit on the outer part of the plate, and he finds that hole between third and short. What's a game of inches, though, isn't it? I mean, he pulls that ball a couple of feet to his left, and it's a 5-4-3 double play. But he finds a hole, and he's got Knuckles down there at first base and Billy Hatcher, and baseball's a funny game. Tucker with another chance to drive a run in.
Tucker left runners at first and third. His only time up on a comebacker to the pitcher Wada. And now he has first and second, nobody out. Reds trying to rally from 5 down. And all of a sudden, not as many strikes by Wada. Got to 3 balls in the count with Kozar. He did pump in strike after strike after strike on all the foul balls.
Well, you know, but also, you know, the second time through the order.
Chris Heisey has moved into the on-deck circle. Heisey had a sensational game 1 of this doubleheader. Went 3 for 3. Was on base 4 times if you throw in a walk. Scored a run. He had an excellent game in the field on defense as well. And that one lined into center field. They're going to hold the runner at third. And the bases are loaded with nobody out, and Heisey coming up.
Really good swing by Tucker Barnhart that time. He read that changeup coming in there, and he just stayed back and waited. Watch the adjustment he makes. He puts that foot down, and he keeps his hands back and goes right down to get it. Kind of a double tap that he gave with that left foot. It's a good bit of hitting.
Well, Chris Bosio, the pitching coach, and I'm assuming that's an interpreter coming out with it.
Or a translator.
Yeah, one or the other.
We'll find out which. See, this is what, you know, I know infielders are very curious, but there's really no need, except for curiosity, for any of those infielders to be out there right now. They're not talking about some kind of trick play they're putting on. They want to hear, you know, the translation or the interpretation.
You can tell, though, by watching Anthony Rizzo, he was having some fun with that translator there. I mean, he was giving him a hard time when he walked out to the mound. He was ribbing him as he walked back to the dugout. So Rizzo must be one of those guys that's not afraid to let you have it. Well. Reds are still down 5-0, but they have them loaded with nobody out here in the last of the 5th inning. Heisey digging in. And he looks at ball 1.
You know what's interesting about this matchup is that Chris Heisey is a very good high fastball hitter. And that's where Wada likes to throw that fastball.
One and 0 to Chris Heisey. Well, he came up with a fastball, and Heisey tardy. That might have been his best fastball of the night right there at 90. I don't recall him hitting 90 tonight. Do you?
I think he hit 91 in the first inning.
Seven career pinch hit home runs for Heisey. Most of those came a couple of years ago. And he looks at strike 2. That one in 91. So humping up a little bit here is Wada. With the bases loaded. Singles by Schumacher, Cozart, and Barnhart. And now Wada in front of Heisey, the pinch hitter, at a ball and 2 strikes. Nobody out. Good eye there to lay off that tempting breaking ball that took a nosedive in the dirt. Cubs have action in their bullpen for the first time tonight. Right-hander Brian Schlitter, who's having an excellent year. Schlitter pitched in game 1, 2/3 of an inning, allowed a hit. Faced 3 batters. One out in the inning.
Key time for Wada, and he goes right after Chris Heisey after a breaking ball with really fastballs. And Heisey, that's his strength. Boston pitch by pitch will show a couple of breaking balls down, then he goes right up the ladder on back-to-back pitches to throw it right by Chris Heisey and get the first out of the inning. I'm really kind of surprised that Heisey didn't center one of those up.
Well, now Billy Hamilton, he had a bases clearing 3-run triple, you may recall, in a game here last night. That came as a left-handed batter. Hamilton has been incredible this year with the bases loaded. He's been by far the best Reds hitter. Hamilton has 5 hits and 7 at-bats with the bases loaded this year, and a whopping 10 runs batted in. 1 ball and 1 strike on Billy Hamilton. To Billy. Takes up and away. Now Devin Mesoraco has fewer at-bats. Here's a triple by Hamilton up the first base line to drive in 3 last night. Devin Mesoraco, thanks to a pair of grand slams this year, has more RBIs in just 4 at-bats. 11 runs batted in for Mesoraco with the bases loaded on a perfect 4 for 4. A 2-1 to Billy. And now 2-2.
Well, with the threat of jinxing Billy Hamilton, what I like about him with bases loaded so far this year is that he has put the ball in play every time. He has not struck out once in his 7 at-bats. 5 for 7, by the way. I'll save you the math. It's 7-14.
Thank you. there are a lot of others thanking you too. 2-2 on Billy Hamilton. Fly ball short center. Catch made by Lake. And they will not send the runner. And it bounces away. And here comes Schumacher. Heads up base running by Schumacher at third, and he'll score.
Very shallow in center field. They were not, even with one out, we're not going to take a shot right here. Junior Lake keeps the ball very low, and it goes right off the pitcher's mound. It looks like that Anthony Rizzo just tried to scoop it, and it kicked off his shin or his glove, and even as Schumacher was going back to the bag, he sees that ball squared away, so Reds get one out of it. Probably just an error on the first baseman.
That'll be a throwing error charged to Junior Lake, allowing the run to score. Not a sac fly for Billy Hamilton. So now Frazier's a big at bat. Reds had a bases loaded with nobody out. Heisey came off the bench and Wada struck him out. Hamilton a fly ball to center. So now 2 on but 2 out. The Reds are leaning hard on their all-star third baseman here, Todd Frazier. Frazier looking for his first hit in this doubleheader. Went 0 for 4 in game 1 with a couple of strikeouts. 0 for 2 tonight. Bounced into a double play and then hit a line drive on a great catch made by the second baseman Darwin Barney. Tucker Barnhart is picked off first to end the inning. The game summary. A rough Reds debut for David Holmberg. Gave up a 2-run home run to Chris Conlon in the second inning. Anthony Rizzo a solo home run to begin the third. And after allowing a hit 2 batters later, a 2-run home run by Mike Gold. All 5 runs coming on 3 home runs. And Holmberg leaving the game after 2 2/3 innings. Reds got their only run on really a misplay. That's all there is to it. That was a fly ball that wasn't deep enough to score the run. After the Reds had loaded the bases with nobody out. And they come away with a run thanks to a Cub error. Then Barnhart picked off.
With your best run producer standing at home plate. That is a toot bland. J.J. Hoover, third pitcher of the night. Holmgren, then Carlos Contreras. Contreras didn't do bad at all. In 2 1/3, he did not give up a run. Walked a couple, gave up a hit, but unscored upon.
Two and 0 on Ruggiano, and there's a swing on what would have been ball 3. So Hoover helped there. 2 balls and a strike. Tell you, Hoover has nearly become a forgotten man down in that Reds bullpen. He had the outstanding year last year, had the long consecutive appearance streak, consecutive scoreless inning streak out of the Reds bullpen, and many felt that if the Reds, again thinking about moving Aroldis Chapman into the rotation as their strike 3 to Ruggiano, that Hoover might be a guy that you could look at as potentially, if not this year, down the road being a closer. But with all the inconsistency out of that bullpen from Hoover, much like Logan Ondrusek, they'll go a couple of games where they're not touched, and then they'll go a couple of games where they really struggle. And Brian Price is trying to get a gauge on exactly where both Hoover and Ondrusek are right now. And he might say otherwise, he being Brian Price. But all you have to do is look at when guys are asked to pitch. And the prime example being the 8th inning of the game today. Jonathan Broxton had pitched the last couple of games. They did not want to use him in game 1 of the doubleheader. And so with a 2-run lead, they gave the ball in the 8th inning today to Jumbo Diaz.
Well, there's different ways to motivate players, aren't there? One is you hang a carrot out there, and the other is you take the carrot away. Brian Price is not afraid to make changes in the lineup, make changes in the duties or the roles that you have in the bullpen. If you're unhappy with the way guys are pitching in their particular roles, why would you stick with it?
Two on Rizzo. That ball driven hard into left center field. Hamilton unable to get to it. It bounces up against a wall. And Rizzo, after going hitless in the first game of the doubleheader today, has 2 hits, both of them extra base hits. A home run and now a double.
I'm not sure that Rizzo can do any more to convince the Reds pitching staff that they should simply not pitch him down and away. His home run pitch was off the plate but waist high. He hit a laser shot to right field his first time up on a low away pitch, and that ball was not all that bad of a pitch if you look at it, location and so on. But you know, J.J. Hoover may say, well, it's not a bad pitch, but it might be a bad pitch to Anthony Rizzo because he goes out there and gets that bad boy.
Starlin Castro, 1 hit in 3 at-bats. Reds are down 4. We're only in the 6th inning. We had a 35-minute rain delay tonight. Big swing and a miss by Castro. You know, Castro's come under fire at times. I mean, he came up so young. He made his major league debut here, and he had the first 2 years in the big leagues were just outstanding seasons. Went to the All-Star game. He really struggled last year, and You know, a lot of Cub fans were certainly encouraged. I mean, maybe not sold, but perhaps encouraged by the comments made by Castro after the big deal was made involving Samardzija and Hamill going to the Oakland Athletics, and how the Cubs are stockpiling, you know, middle infielders as Castro is gone, swinging 2 away in the inning, and you know how they may have to move somebody sometime down the road off the shortstop position because you can't play 3 guys at shortstop. And they asked Castro. He said, look, and I'm paraphrasing, but basically he came out and said, that's not my decision. I'm going to go out and play as hard as I can every day. If they want me to move and go somewhere else, all they have to do is tell me, and I'll be there, and I'll show up and I'll play. That's what I'm paid to do.
I think that's what they wanted to hear from him. And I think that may go the same for a number of players that they get in these trades for pitchers in return and so on, that they're going to have to figure out where they're best going to suit the team. So you speculate forward. You say, what? Starlin Castro may end up being an outfielder.
Maybe at third base.
Maybe third base. Maybe second base.
But I think you and I would agree on one thing for sure. All these other guys are talking about, the overwhelming majority of them are in single A ball, or maybe just got promoted to double A ball like in the last couple of weeks. Starlin Castro's not going anywhere for a while. There's ball 4 as Hoover issues a walk to Wellington Castillo.
You don't think they would entertain an offer for Starlin Castro?
No, I don't. Not at 24 years old. And he's under a pretty good contract. Kick off your weekend at the ballpark this Friday night. Celebrate Girls Night Out. Arrive early, enjoy massages and more in the Kroger Fan Zone. The first 10,000 ladies receive a red sweaty band. Have the big fireworks show. A Girls Night Out soundtrack presented by Tri-Health. 381-REDS. The number to call for tickets.
Now the sweaty band, I've seen them. It actually is a lot better than it sounds.
Really? What do you mean by
that? I mean,
that?
it's not like preloaded with sweat or anything. You know, sweaty band implies that it's already sweaty. You got to provide that yourself. Just a more of a girly way of saying sweatband, I guess.
Gotcha. And there's
I'm probably the only guy that didn't get it. I thought it was a misprint when you first read it.
No, sweaty band.
I've seen them. They're kind of cute.
And where do you wear them, around your wrist?
No, you wear them right your head.
Oh, your head. All right.
Yeah.
That's a headband.
What's this? But it absorbs the sweat.
All right. Fastball just up and in to Olt. Do you wear one of those when you work out? Do you wear a sweaty band?
No, I don't.
You know?
I'm thinking about it though.
How about when you play golf?
No. Or a hat.
Gone swinging is Olt, and that'll end the inning.
I'm thinking
you want to
about
look
it,
into wearing a sweaty band, maybe on the air for Reds game.
history. July 8, 1941, All-Star game. National League leading 5-3 until Teddy ballgame. Ted Williams cranks a 3-run walk-off home run, one of the most dramatic and iconic highlights in MLB history, as the AL All-Stars rallied to win the game 7-5. Only Williams' third season in the bigs, and of course that summer of 41 he went on to post a .406 batting average, a .553 on base percentage, 37 long balls, and 137 runs driven in. All-Star game a week from tonight on Big Fox. Tom?
That's going to be a lot of fun on Tuesday night. Can't wait for that. Well, the night is over. The major league debut for Tsuyoshi Wada, as he goes 5 innings tonight, allows 5 hits and a run. Pretty doggone good debut for him.
I think that run is probably an unearned run.
No doubt about it.
So you wonder if maybe Wada will have some kind of they'll have some plans for Wada at some point this season, maybe even out of the bullpen.
Well, with all the guys they're starting to bring up now from the minor leagues, I mean, they've got Dallas Beeler they just brought up. He's pitching here tomorrow. Kyle Hendricks is making his major league debut on Thursday. I don't know how in the world, after the way Wada threw the ball tonight, that you don't run him out there for at least one more start. But that's for Jed Hoyer and Brent Torria and Theo Epstein and all the Cubs brass to make that decision. We know Brian Schlitter is on the mound.
41 games now for Schlitter, having a great year. Earned run average at 2.5. Good control.
Part of the order for the Reds. They're down by 4, and Frazier rips one up the left field line, and this will be a double.
Boy, this guy is just so ready to hit a fastball. Schlitter went down 2 balls and no strikes to him. And Todd's thinking, well, they're up by 4 runs. He's probably going to come right after me, and he did. And even though that ball was up and out of the zone, there's another example of a pitch that you're going to look back on it on the video and say, well, it wasn't that bad of a pitch. It was up and out of the zone. It was way inside. But to Todd Frazier, it's a bad pitch. So Reds now with a great opportunity to get him over to third and get at least one more back in this inning. Perhaps more.
Crowd trying to get behind the Redlegs. We still have a long way to go in this one. We are only at the bottom of the 6th inning. And a bouncing ball to the right side. The runner will advance on to third. 1 out in the inning. Well, you may not know it, but the All-Star game is coming your way on Tuesday night, July the 15th. 4 Cincinnati Reds, 3 of them will experience their first All-Star game. The special coverage begins at 4:30 in the afternoon. That'll be on Fox Sports 1. It's followed by the All-Star game on 7:30 on Fox. They'll have you covered for everything going on in and around Minneapolis and Target Field on Fox Sports 1 leading up to the game coverage.
That ball game, Milwaukee now, between the Phillies and the Brewers, have now gone 9-5 Phillies. They had left Willie Peralta in there to give up 9 runs in 4 1/3.
So play to run. So a leadoff double, a couple of ground balls, and now you're within 3. And again, we're only in the 6th inning. Ryan Ludwig has doubled and bounced out to short. They basically got Schlitter off the scrap heap. Originally drafted by Philadelphia in the 16th round, they let him go. The Cubs picked him up in a trade for Scott Air. That was back in 08. Went on the DL, had shoulder problems, claimed off waivers by the Yankees. They let him go. Claimed off waivers by Phillies. They let him go. Sent him back to the Cubs. And he has been their most consistent pitcher this year out of the bullpen. And he showed up in spring training without a job. 1-2 on Ryan Ludwig. Ball to short. Castro will throw on to first, and that's all for the Reds. But they get a run, and they're down 5-2 as we're off to the 7th inning.
They were top of the 7th inning. J.J. Hoover on for his 2nd inning of work, and it was a strikeout of Mike Holt by J.J. Hoover, which is our flamethrower, brought to you by Cholula Hot Sauce, and it had some heat. 94 miles an hour on this fastball as J.J. Hoover goes up and away, and Mike Holt goes down for the 3rd out of the 6th inning.
J.J. allowed a hit, a walk. He struck out 3 batters in that 6th inning. And now he'll face a latter 3rd in the Cub batting order. Coghlan, Barney, and we'll see what they do about Schlitter. They don't have anybody right now, I don't think. Yeah, now they have Body Stern around in that bullpen. They had a left-hander up at last check. Wesley Wright. Reds will have left-handed batter Schumacher to lead things off in the bottom of this 7th inning. Coghlan 6 hits in this series, 4 of them last night. Hit a home run in game 1 today. Hit a 2-run home run to start the Cubs scoring against Holmberg in the second inning tonight. He's also drawn a walk and fly to left. Breaking ball stays high. And Coughlin with yet another base hit. 7 of them. In now 2.5 games of this series.
What can you say? On fire? Well, that's a quick swing right there. That ball looked like it was right at his hands. And he just got that bat head on the ball and took it right back through the middle.
Now Darwin Barney the batter. They have a left-handed hitter, Nate Shearholt, standing in the on-deck circle. That is a pitcher's spot. And Barney shortens up, pulls the bat away, and takes a strike.
Don't want to give that run back that you got in the bottom of the 6th.
That Cardinal game started 30 minutes after this one did. They've scored more runs in that game than we have in this one. And they too are in the top of the 7th inning. Cardinals and the Pirates are tied at 7. This game got started late tonight. 35 minutes late due to a shower that rolled through right around the game time, the scheduled game time of 7:10. And the Phillies, as Chris mentioned, are just laying it on Milwaukee, although they have a long way to go in that one.
But that Cardinal game is in St. Louis. They're an hour earlier than us, so.
Run that by me again.
Well, they're on.
I'm
Central.
easily confused.
They're on Central Time, right? Okay.
They are.
So it's only 9:13.
You're right. Yeah, that's exactly right. It is.
I mean, I don't want you getting confused after doing the weather tonight, which you're only off by about 20 minutes.
You're right. I was off by about that. There's strike 3 to Barney.
Hope you had enjoyed your debut.
No. What I'm saying is the Cardinals game, Ohio time.
I get it.
I hope you get it.
It was kind of a joke.
I know
but
that. That's why I said I'm easily confused.
If I have to explain every joke to you, they're just not as funny.
Went away in the inning, and here's Shearholt. Well, but this is something you and I talked about a long time ago. There was a time in Reds franchise history where they used to start their games at 8 o'clock at night.
8:05. I remember those games.
And here we started at 7:45 tonight. And 2.5 hours into it, you're in the 7th inning.
Now, we've also talked about that unusual start time they have in Phoenix. Where they start, I'm not sure it was Friday nights or Saturday nights, but they start those games at 6:40.
Well, that's every night.
Oh, is it every night?
Every
okay.
night.
And that's an interesting start time.
I think it's the best start time in a game. Now, I know a lot of our bosses on the television side, because that is not technically in prime time,
I see.
would say, don't ever bring that up again. And if they said that, then we won't bring it up again. But
they usually just say that to me.
No, believe me, I hear about it as well. You know that. But 6:40, we've talked about this. I just think it's the best starting time in the game. And that's for everybody, especially the fans. 1-2 to count on Shearholtz, and a fastball is high.
Well, when school's in session, it certainly is more kid friendly.
Well, it's more kid friendly even in the summer. You know, I mean, most parents aren't letting their kids that are 9 and 10, 11 years old stay up till 11:30, 12 o'clock in the summertime. We get them in a rack by 10, 10:30, swing and a miss. And Sherrod's out on strikes. That is 5 strikeouts. Every out recorded by Hoover in an inning and 2/3 has come via the strikeout. Well, Fox Sports Ohio is taking over that Reds ticket office tonight. We have a great deal for you. It's going on right now for tickets to the games on Friday and or Sunday. Against the Pirates, you can get a ticket for $10. Go to Reds.com/FS Ohio right now. Use the code FS10 and get your tickets tonight, but you got to do it tonight. We are in the 7th inning, and the Cubs have a 3-run lead. Reds will have 3 more cracks at them. Rondon has been the Cub closer. He has 11 of those on the year. James Russell, one of their left-handers in the bullpen, along with Wesley Wright. Wright was getting loose at last check. Been using Strope, setting up from time to time, trying to get it to their closer Rondon. And that one off the glove of Tucker Barnhart on the pitch high and tight to Junior Lake. Advancing on to second base is Coghlan.
Well, you may have advanced the runner to second base, but I think you effectively bought the outside corner.
Breaking ball stayed high and well outside. 2-2 on Junior Lake. Hoover trying to get the Reds right back to the plate, down by 3. For Schumacher, Cozart, and Barnhart are the scheduled trio. That ball hung out there a little bit. Hoover got away with one.
Now that's the pitch right there that you have to finish. One where you dust a guy inside. It's the very next pitch. You don't want to let him get his eye back. This is the pitch that you've got to finish and get it down on the knee on the outside part of the plate, and just kind of flipped out of his fingers right there and spun up there.
Got him swinging, and that'll end the inning. Reds coming up, trailing 5-2.
on it with Reds Live, the post-game edition. Most expanded Reds highlights you'll see anywhere. Hear from the manager before anyone else, other interviews, and more. It's Reds Live post-game. It's brought to you by Performance Kings Honda. I'm Jim Day. One of the news items of the day is Todd Frazier will participate in the Home Run Derby coming up in Minnesota. And Frazier obviously excited about it. He wants players that want to be there, and he certainly wants to be there. And he also said that he's going to take one of his brothers to pitch to him. His older brother, Charlie, is pumped up to do it. He says his other brother, Jeff, and I'm sorry, Jeff, if you're watching, but he said you have the yips once in a while, so he's a little worried about that. So he's going with the oldest brother, Charlie, and he's really looking forward to it, but he says it's going to be very cool because Charlie will be wearing a Frazier jersey. Frazier, Todd, will wear a Frazier jersey, obviously, so the brothers Frazier will go at it in a very special night.
Very, very nice. Good for him and good for them. Reds come to bat here in the bottom of the 7th inning, and they face a veteran left-hander out of the Chicago bullpen, Wesley Wright. 32nd game, good numbers. Opponents hitting .217 against him. You have a left-handed batter in Schumacher, and then right-handers in Cozart, Barnhart, a switch hitter. 2-0. Reds fell behind 5-0. They've scored single runs in each of the last 2 innings. They had a chance to really do some damage in that 5th. Couldn't do it. Had the bases loaded with nobody out, and their only run scored on a throwing error. Two and one to Schumacher.
Wright has been a pretty good pickup for the Cubs. They really got him for nothing. They signed him as a free agent. He was previously with Tampa last year, and they didn't offer him a contract, so he became a free agent.
Of course, we used to see him a number of times back in his days with the Astros.
All the time.
And Schumacher did too, as he was playing in the National League Central with St. Louis. Three and one to Skip, trying to get aboard to begin the inning. And he does by drawing a walk. We saw Villanueva getting loose in the bullpen. Boy, it was this time a year ago. Villanueva was having a great year as a starter, a real surprise year for the Cubs. And they gave him a spot start the other day, and it was not pretty. And it appears as though Renteria is debating whether to go get Wesley Wright after the leadoff walk and bring in Villanueva.
Well, we saw Rick Renteria manage in Chicago. One game against the Reds up there was a game that the Cubs won, and he played almost out by out once they got to the 7th inning. I mean, you talk about a managing job. He was just trying to buy his way to the 9th inning. Looking at that roster, looking at the scorecard, not sure what to do.
Well, he has milked this for every second he possibly can. Boy, he shut it down into first gear, making his way out to that mound.
You're right. Those are tiny little steps. It's like Joe Madden steps. It was the review stride, like somebody tied your shoestrings together.
Well, now he wants a right-hander in the bullpen. So Wright walks the only batter he faces. And Villanueva will trot in from the Chicago bullpen. So don't go anywhere, folks. It's only a 3-run game, and the Reds have the leadoff man aboard in the 7th. We'll be back in a moment.
AT&T fan photo, and as you continue to tweet your photos using hashtag Ohio fan photo, just like they did right here. Elisa, Bradley, and Elisa. Ohio fan photo. It's what you put it at. Ohio hashtag Ohio fan photo. And our fan photo of the game is brought to you by AT&T.
All right, here's Villanueva pitching in his 24th game, and look at the opponent's batting average against him this year.
He's another guy which is almost like everybody except Brian Schleter that Reds have seen tonight, is it has to rely on being right on the corners. Never really been a power arm, but more so now than ever, that little breaking ball and that changeup of his has to be right where he wants it to get the job done.
Villanueva was lit up on Saturday in a 13-0 loss to the Washington Nationals. That was as a starter. So it's the first time he's thrown in a game since then. And delivers strike one to Zach Kozak. Barnhart and then a pinch hitting. And the Reds have some pretty good options on that bench tonight. Brian Pena down there. They've already used Heisey. They have Mesoraco remaining. And of course, Ramon Santiago's had a couple of really nice games as a starter. Had a couple of hits today. Santiago had a hit and drew a pair of walks, scored a couple of runs in the win here last night. One and one to Zach Kozak, and that one low and away. Milwaukee has drawn 2 runs closer. That is a wild one tonight in Milwaukee. 9-7 Philadelphia, and it's the bottom of the 6th inning. They are in the top of the 8th in St. Louis. Pirates and the Cardinals tied at 4. Here the Reds have Schumacher aboard to begin the bottom of the 7th. They're down 5-2. 3-1 to Kozak.
Isn't it kind of interesting, though, that an injury to Joey Votto would mean more playing time for Ramon Santiago? I mean, you would think, well, he's been brought on his ball club to, to spell relief for second and for short.
And there's ball 4, and the tying run will now come to the plate here in the Reds' 7th inning with none out. Kozak did not get antsy during that at bat. You know he wants to swing the bat. He has a couple of singles already in the game tonight, but would not chase out of the strike zone. And now the Cubs, at least the third baseman, Mike Gold, is wondering, being only the 7th inning, would the Reds ask Tucker Barnhart to put down a bunt? Gold even with the bag at third. And he'll start to creep in and keep an eye on Barnhart. Ball 1. Well, I got to tell you, the way Villanueva's throwing the ball, you almost have to take until he throws a strike, don't you?
Either that or be ready for a pitch right down Broadway. And I think Tucker Barnhart, having been just called up from the minor leagues, probably I like your idea better. Make him show you that he can throw a strike.
Tucker's going to let it fly. Two and one now to Tucker. Right of Brownsburg, Indiana. I asked him before the game tonight, did anybody in his family, were they making the trip over here tonight? He said, nope, don't think so. He said, my girlfriend's coming in. He said, I think that's it. Well, what a great thrill they had when He was brought up very early this year, and they got a chance to see him play. 2-1 to Tucker Barnhart, and it's high ball 3. And Devin Mesoraco is standing in the on-deck circle.
Well, Villanueva is just trying to feather that little changeup of his on the outside corner. Not only is he missing away, he's also missing with the height. He's thrown those last 2 pitches above the belt. Well, you got to make sure that this is exactly the pitch you want.
Two on Barnhart, 2 on, nobody out. Reds down 5-2, batting here in the last of the 7th inning. And Villanueva, long pause, and walks in to load the bases. Did we mention earlier, that Devin Mesoraco, with the bases loaded this year, is 4 for 4. 2 of those 4 hits, grand slams. One of them against these Cubbies. Mesoraco, a National League All-Star for the first time in his career. Reds, for the second time in the last 3 innings, have him loaded with nobody out. And they're hoping this time will be far more productive than the last time, when they managed only 1 run on a throwing error by the center fielder, Junior Lake. Strike 1 to Mesoraco. Three walks to begin this 7th inning. And a liner, short hop. There's one, and that is a double play. A run scores to make it 5-3. But my, oh my, does Villanueva get the double play when he needs it most.
That was a nice play by Starlin Castro. That ball kind of short hopped him out there, but he picked it clean. And a quick turn by Darwin Barney. Bang, bang at first base.
So now it's a 2-run game. No RBI for Mesoraco. And here's Billy Hamilton. Reds would love to get Frazier to the plate here in this inning. Runner at third and 2 are out. Breaking ball down low. Wow. Bases loaded, none out in the 5th. Bases loaded, none out in the 7th. And the only 2 runs plated so far on a throwing error by an outfielder and on a double play. And it's 2-0 on Billy Hamilton. Hamilton well aware who's behind him in this Reds batting order. And Billy taking 2-0, and that's high ball 3. When you saw Frazier standing in the on-deck circle, he was actually standing on that mat down there. And then after that ball 3 pitch, he came walking about 4 or 5 steps up onto the grass to get one more look at Villanueva, sensing perhaps a chance to go get him here momentarily. 3-1 now to Hamilton. Hamilton trying to keep this inning going, down by 2. 3-1 pitch. In the air, right center field. Billy Hamilton. Billy Hamilton. And that is up against the wall. He's on his way to third. They're going to hold him there, and it's a 1-run game. Wow. Got something else, man.
He is an igniter. And he gets a high fastball, a 3-1 count right there, and he is not about to miss it. Well, this is the part of the game that I don't think anybody really anticipated with Billy Hamilton. His power, even in the gaps. I mean, it's one thing to be able to hit a home run down the line either way, but to drive a ball like that through the base of the wall in one of the deepest parts of the ballpark. An easy triple for Hamilton and a slow walk out to the mound for Chris Bosio.
Hey, look, Billy Hamilton, not going to be a big home run hitter. We've talked about that, although he already has 5 home runs this year. This was nearly number 6. Billy Hamilton has more extra base hits, or now as many extra base hits, as Jay Bruce has this year.
Having a better year.
5 home runs. He has 18 doubles. He has 5 triples.
Of course, a lot of the balls that he hits that Jay Bruce might get a single on, he gets a double on.
Good point. Well, well, well. What once was 5-0 is down to a single-run differential. The tying run is Hamilton standing at third, and Todd Frazier, the batter, with 2 away. Ball 1. Frazier picked up his first hit in this doubleheader. He started the first game, went hitless. He had a double down the left field line his last time up and scored a run. Up on a strike on Frazier. One ball and 1 strike on Frazier. Villanueva with a pause and now to the plate, and it sails outside. 2 balls and a strike. Hopper, Castro the pirouette, and the throw on the money. Good play, a couple of them in the inning by Castro, but the Reds get 2. And we're on our way to the 8th. It is a 1-run game. Hamilton bobblehead night for the first 25,000 fans through the gate. It's presented by PNC Bank. You got to see it live this Saturday, the first ever Billy Hamilton bobblehead night. Look forward to seeing it. That is a 7:15 start time. Well, the Reds were trailing 5-0 after the Cubs got 2 in the second inning and 3 in the third. But they come away with single runs in the 5th, the 6th, 2 runs in the 7th. The bullpen has been spectacular. Contreras and Hoover combining on 4 1/3 innings of 3-hit shutout baseball. And now trying to continue that trend is right-hander Logan Ondrusek.
Yeah, the Reds would not even be in this ball game if they only had mediocre work out of the bullpen tonight. They've had exemplary work. Hoover struck out 6 in 2 innings. Every out he got was a strikeout. Contreras did not strike a batter out in his 2 1/3 innings, but he pitched scoreless baseball.
Hoover, by the way, striking out 6, is the 5th Reds pitcher ever to throw 2 innings with every out recorded as a strikeout. The last Reds pitcher to do that, Alfredo Simon, last May the 6th against Atlanta. First pitch swinging, Ruggiano. Ground ball to Brandon Phillips. 1 pitch and 1 out. Reds will have Phillips, Bruce, Ludwig due up when they bat in the bottom of the 8th. Cubs will no doubt hand the ball to Strop with what the Reds hope will only be a 1-run spread when they bat in the 8th inning. Ball 1 to Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo 2 out of 4, a couple of extra base hits, including a solo home run to deep right center field back in the 3rd inning against David Holmberg. And then he doubled to left center field in the 6th inning. Cardinals and the Pirates are in the top of the 9th inning. That game still tied at 4. The Pirates have 1 on with 1 out. And that one pulled into right field. Sounded like a broken bat. And Rizzo with a 3-hit night.
I'm sure it was a broken bat. It was a pitch that Ondrusek trying to pitch inside. He got it inside. Maybe Jay Bruce could get a couple of first base tips from him while he's down there.
Soft fly ball into right will be caught by Schumacher, and that takes care of Castro on pitch. 2 away in the inning. The Reds have had to use a lot of bullpen tonight, and certainly this has been the exception. Look at the inners, the total pitches and innings pitched by the Reds relievers going back over the last 2.5 weeks. That's amazing. And that is updated. That includes Hoover, who went 2 innings tonight. He had pitched an inning and a half. Cozart, a diving play. Can he get it out? He does! What a play by Cozart.
Defense. Wow.
Reds down a run, coming to bat in the bottom of the 8th. Brought to you by Chevy. Visit your Tri-State Chevy dealer today. And by Cincinnati Children's Hospital, ranked 3rd in the country on the U.S. News and World Report's 2014 Best Children's Hospitals in America. I'm sure a number of children are dialed into Reds baseball tonight over at Children's Hospital. And certainly our best wishes, our thoughts and prayers to you and your families. See if the Reds can bring home a winner here tonight. They were down 5-0, Mr. Welsh, and now it's 5-4 as they bring on Pedro Strop from their bullpen.
Been like a slow boil for the Reds offense to finally get back into this ball game. 1 run away. Pedro Strop got a pretty good year going. He strikes out a lot, more than an inning, more than 1 per inning, that is. Batting average against under 200. Got a good arm, Strop does.
Now, over the weekend, Strop picked up a hold in a win against the Nationals on Friday night, but he took the loss on Sunday. He allowed a run to snap a 1-1 tie in the 8th inning. Reds have Brandon Phillips, Jay Bruce, Ryan Ludwig. They're hoping for more than that here in this bottom of the 8th inning as they try to rally from what would be their largest deficit of the year. Trailed in this game 5-0 at the end of 3, 5-0 at the end of 4. Got a run in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. And the leadoff man aboard as Phillips drops one into center field. Jay Bruce has homered in 3 consecutive games. Had the big one in the 8th inning to snap a 2-2 tie against Smith and the Brewers. Proved to be the game winner on Sunday. The 2-run home run off Russell in the 7th inning last night. And then Bruce a home run in the opening inning against Travis Wood, game 1 of the doubleheader today. All of those obviously coming against left-handed pitching. Fastball and a good one at 96 for a strike, 1-1. Not a lot of looks for the Reds against this young right-hander. Brandon Phillips now 1 out of 2 with a walk. Jay Bruce 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Ludwig has only seen him once. Schumacher twice. Bottom fell out of that pitch.
Yeah, that was his slider right there. He doesn't throw too many split fingers for a changeup, but he loves his slider. And he's got kind of an unusual delivery too. It's almost an all-arm delivery. Gets his almost a Valverde type of a delivery where he gets his arm up behind his head, goes straight down. But man, he brings it up there at 96, 97. That slider goes straight down.
2-2 on Jay Bruce.
Here's the delivery we're talking about. I mean, he just kind of gets it way up there. A little deceiving with that glove kind of flashing in front of his hand, trying to hide the baseball.
Of course, you're referring to Jose Valverde, many years a closer in baseball for the Diamondbacks, Houston, the Tigers, among others.
Strop by far the hardest thrower this game has seen tonight. And that's what usually happens as you start getting to the back end of the bullpen. Innings 8 and 9, that's when you get your flamethrowers.
Two and two the count on Jay Bruce. Tying run at first base with nobody out here in the Reds' 8th inning. And that one, a sinking liner into left field. It'll fall and a hit and roll to the wall. The tying run will score, and the Reds have come back from 5-0 down.
Well, there is some kind of good energy going on in that dugout right now. Jay Bruce battling and battling, gets a fastball, a little sinker down and away, and he just puts the bat on the ball.
All right, now the question is, Chris, they had Ryan Ludwig put down a sacrifice last night. You've got the potential winning run out there at second base. Nobody out. Are you asking Ludwig to bunt right here?
Yes.
Well, the Cubs don't believe he is.
Or you may give him a pitch first. You need to get that runner over to third.
There is no doubt about it. I mean, this is right there for the taking, setting up a win.
Exactly right. Open and shut.
Oh, and 1 to count on Ryan Ludwig, trying to give the Reds a lead. And he has chased 2 pitches a foot outside and behind 0-2.
Well, those pitches actually, if he's committed enough to it, those would be the ideal type pitches to hit the ball the other way. But this one is so far outside. Almost hit the plate.
Five game, go ahead run out at second base with nobody out. And it's 0-2 on Ludwig. He made contact with that one. To get Bruce at the very minimum down to third is Ludwig. It gives Schumacher a chance to give the Reds a lead. Started 2 and laid off. I would imagine that's all Ludwig's going to see the rest of this at bat. Reds have Sam LeCure and Jonathan Broxton loose in their bullpen. Aroldis Chapman, of course, closed out the game earlier today. 1-2. And there's 1 out in the inning. So the Reds do not ask Ludwig to bunt.
A nasty pitch right there. That ball 95 miles an hour with a lot of run on it. After seeing slider after slider, you're not going to do much with that pitch.
There was not a single pitch that was in our Fox track strike zone during that entire at bat to Ludwig. And now Schumacher, rather than a ground ball or a fly ball, they need a hit to try and get Bruce in now from second base with 1 out in the inning. To skip Schumacher. And now ball and a strike. Schumacher has been on his last 2 times. After popping up to left field in the second inning, he singled and scored the first Reds run in the 5th. He walked leading off the 7th inning and scored again. Reds have come back from 5-0 down. And they have the go-ahead run at second base with 1 away here in the bottom of the 8th. 2-2 on Schumacher. Stroke ready. Check Bruce out at second base. And that is strike 3 called. Schumacher thought it was low.
Got an argument there. It looked low and away.
Now Cozart, been a perfect night for him. He has singled twice, drawn a walk, scored a run. Cozart trying to bring in Bruce with the go-ahead run. He was there with nobody out after having tied the game with a double. Ludwig strikes out swinging. Schumacher called out on strikes. And it's ball 1 to Cozart. Cozart had so many big hits, 3 nights in a row out in San Francisco, where he drove in the go-ahead run in each of the first 3 games of that series. And looking for another here tonight against the Cubbies. And it's into right center field, still in the air, and able to run it down in right center is Ruggiano. Well, you tie it up, you're hoping for more. But it's 5-5 as we're off to the 9th. Of the game. Chris, you brought it up. J.J. Hoover, all 6 outs he recorded came via the strikeout.
Had a good fastball tonight. Hoover did. He threw a slider right there for a strikeout, but for the most part he was just throwing high gas. But the Cubs have left 12 on base, so they've had their chances. Reds feel like they've had their chances too, but they haven't even had half as many left on base as the Cubs have had. And Logan Ondrusek will start his 2nd inning.
Logan Andrusik delivers ball one low to left-handed batting Luis Valbuena. Valbuena batting for Mike Olt. Olt went 1 out of 3 in the game, including a 2-run home run. He also walked and scored a run. Andrusik allowed a hit and had a spectacular play made behind him defensively by Kozai for the final out of the 8th inning on a force out at second base. 1-2 on Valbuena. The Reds in the bottom of the 9th inning will have a pinch hitter for the pitcher. Devin Mesoraco and Billy Hamilton. Any further than that, heart of the order. Frazier, Phillips, Bruce right on down the line. 5-5 game in the 9th inning. This is what happens when your team continues to peck away on offense. There's a fly ball into right field. Schumacher leaps and got it. Not a lot of experience for Schumacher out there in right field. Yes, he has some. And was able to hang with that one. Leaps into the air to get it.
Ain't pretty, but effective.
Schumacher's been right in the middle of all of it tonight. Scored a couple of runs. And now that play out in right field. Coughlin went around. It's 0-2. Starting to talk about how when your team starts to come back, guys that come into a game, you know, and it's been a long time since guys like Andrusik and Hoover, as we talked about earlier, pitching in tight games. Well, when Hoover came in, it wasn't a tight game, but he did his job. Andrusik did come in a 1-run game, allowed only 1 base runner, and now here he is pitching in a tie game in the top of the 9th inning. 0-2 on Coughlin. Gone swinging. Pretty good pitch there by Logan Andrusik.
Coughlin has spent the entire at bat looking for a fastball that he never got. Boy, and watching J.J. Hoover and Logan Andrusik pitch tonight, it's almost like the wake-up call that Brian Price was perhaps trying to deliver to them has been received loud and clear.
One on Darwin Barney. How about that pitch? Boy, Andrusik does indeed have it working tonight so far. Try to throw that one through the side of a tank. Trying to get that final strike on Barney and end this top of the 9th and give his team a chance to win it in the bottom of the 9th inning. And he'll give his team a chance on a good throw by Mesoraco. Well done by Logan Andrusik. An outstanding job. Alrighty. Bottom of the 9th inning. We've got a pinch hitter. We've got Mesoraco and Hamilton. We're tied at 5. Inning, trying to make it 3 in a row over the Cubs and 4 in a row overall. And they'll have to do it against the Cubs closing. As here in the bottom of the 9th inning, they're bringing on Hector Rondon.
Hector Luis Rondon, 26 years old, from Venezuela. Originally signed by the Indians. And he is another strong arm right-hander that they can go to here.
Well, he's not the only change. Luis Valbuena, after pinch hitting for Old, will come on to play third base. Great work by Logan Ondrusek. 2 innings of 1-hit shutout baseball, couple of strikeouts, no walks. And Brian Pena to bat for Ondrusek. Looks at ball 1. 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in for Brian Pena. 2 of 11 as a pinch hitter. He has a pinch hit home run and 2 knocked in. And you can see that Rondon can rush it up there. That fastball at 97 miles per hour. Cardinals get a game-ending home run off the bat of Colton Wong to beat the Pirates for a second straight night. 5-4 the final in that one. There's a Tapper foul wide of first, and Rizzo guarding that line.
It'll be hard to get one by on that line right there. Rondon, another product of a kind of a bottom fishing expedition that the Cubs have done. They got him a couple of years ago in the Rule 5 drafts. They had to keep him on the roster all year last year, and they were probably pleasantly surprised by how well he did. Pitched in 45 ball games. This is game number 32, and 1 year removed from being picked up in the Rule 5 draft. He's their closer. I mean, not all those Rule 5 drafts have that much of a success rate so quick. In fact, some of them never even pan out at all. Most of them don't.
The most recently successful Rule 5 draft the Reds have had was Jared Burton. 3-2 on Brian Pena. Mesoraco waiting on deck. Payoff pitch to Brian Pena. And it's in the air. Up the left field line. A long run for everybody. And it drops in. And Pena only at first base. And they're going to send out a pinch runner for him. Well, that's a play somebody has to make, don't they?
At the last moment, Valbuena, who just came in the ball game, because he thought he got called off by the shortstop. Mike Leake will come in to do the pinch running.
Well, Brian Price has talked about having not been bit by only having 4 players on his bench available. Right now could be construed as one of those moments, because the only remaining bench player he has is Ramon Santiago, and you're using a pitcher to run for a position player who does not run well in pain. And oh, by the way, Mesoraco is the only catcher you have left. So you're hoping this baby's going to come to an end right here and right now in the bottom of the 9th inning. Mesoraco bounced into a double play with the bases loaded, and this one is down the left field line. And Leake is making a turn. He's coming to third. And the Reds are 90 feet away from a win.
Mesoraco gets a breaking ball and just attacks it like he normally does. And it's a good job by Mike Leake. There was just a moment of hesitation as he came around the second base bag, but he realized that he could get there. There wasn't even a throw to third. The throw went to second. And now the Cubs, they're forced to make a decision right here. And Rick Renteria is going to go out to the mound to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
The largest deficit the Reds have overcome in a game this year is only 2 runs. That has been talked about frequently. The last time they came back from 5 or more down was a game against Colorado, or Arizona, I beg your pardon, going back a couple of years ago. And they actually came back in that game from 6 runs down. But it's been talked about a lot, Chris, you know, with all the struggles of the offense. But now they have a chance to be able to say, okay, maybe we haven't done it all year, but we got a chance and are hoping to get it done tonight.
They got to feel that they've got a real good chance right now. I mean, the momentum in this ballpark and the energy in this ballpark. I mean, people are on their feet. Here's the situation. You know, nobody outrunners at first and third. The Cubs have to decide whether they're going to load the bases or not. They probably won't. At least not to Billy Hamilton. They've got to play the infield in. They've got to bring the outfield way in. And I mean, where they're playing right now is simply too deep.
Winning run at third, nobody out. Hamilton, a broken bat flare, and the Reds have won it. They've won it. Down 5-0. And Billy Hamilton, the hero yet again. For the first time all year long, the Reds are 6 games over 500. And they've got it going right now.
Man, is this exciting. And what a way to end on a broken bat. Billy Hamilton's not even sure where the ball is. Looks around, sees the bat. There's the ball inside the fair line down left field line. And our Nissan drive of the game winner by Billy Hamilton. What a victory for Brian Price and the Reds tonight.
Oh, man. And, hey, look, when all's said and done tonight, I think we agree the offense will get the pub, but the Reds bullpen tonight. Contreras, Hoover, Andrusik, lights out. Jeff Piccolo standing by with Billy Hamilton.
Thank you very much, Tom and Billy. So many people doubted you when this season started as you got off to a slow start, but you have proved everybody wrong, and this is just icing on the cake today, wasn't it?
Oh, man, it was awesome, man. That's what we do, man. Our whole team is about fighting, bro. Like, 5 runs down, and we had no doubt in our mind that we was going to win this game, and it's just, it gave me the chance to do it, and I mean, you know, it's fun making it happen. It's fun making it happen.
It's a long day of baseball, but to take a doubleheader like this, especially being down by 5 runs, what's this say about this team?
I mean, hey, we're hard working. I mean, we're like me and Jay said earlier today, man. That's why we're going to win, because the heart we have, the way we play the game. We don't, when we're down, we always battle the whole time. So this team is great, man. Great win.
Really, a situation like that, the infield's pulled in, they're taking the bunt away from you. All you want to do is try to lift something. You broke your bat, but still had enough strength to get that in.
Yeah, I mean, you want to try to get the ball in the air deep as you can, and a broken bat, Choopy, I take them any day.
To be able to be on this roll that you guys are on right now, and you're starting to inch your way back, close to the top of the division as the All-Star break looms. It just shows all the problems that you guys had early, the fight in this team, doesn't it?
It does. It does. But like we said, we were down early off in the season, and we were down a lot. Everybody was doubting us big time, and I feel like we battled through it. Everybody. Not to include myself, but everybody as a team, we battled through it. I feel like this team is great right now.
Pretty fun, isn't it?
It's pretty fun, very fun.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Billy Hamilton, Tom, boy, this kid, everyone and their brother doubted him when the season started. Could he make an impact? He is proving everybody wrong. Back up to you guys.
It has been unbelievable. I mean, as advertised, there's nothing else you can say. There's a long way to go in this season, but this guy has been the man in igniting this Reds team as they are red hot. And there's a chance, depending on what happens in Milwaukee, that they could be 3.5 games out of first place by the time this night is over. They are ready in the sports condo for Jim Day. Reds Live coming up next.